Good morning, everybody, from Why Not Farms. It's Andy here. It is a beautiful spring morning, Mother's Day actually, and we are going to plant some potatoes. Now, last year was the first year that I did potatoes, and I used multiple methods. I did them in a compost pile. I did them in a container that I added boards and soil as the plant grew. I did them in a bag. And I did what was called what I'm calling the shit show method. And basically it's all about no dig. So when it comes time to harvest them, you're basically just spreading the straw and the hay away, and there are your potatoes. And so that's what we're going to do today. I've already started prepping my bed, and I hope that when I do the video, I'm going to do it kind of in a fast motion time lapse so you can see what's going on, and then we'll go from there. So enjoy. This method was the best method that I used last year. Produced a lot of potatoes. I actually went a little overboard on potatoes this year, and hopefully that will turn into a great harvest come fall. And one of the greatest parts about this shit show method is that you can do it right on the grass. You basically need manure, compost, seed potatoes or potatoes, straw, and a little blood and bone meal, and you're done. And then you don't touch it for about 4 to 5 months. Pretty easy if you ask me. So hopefully you stay on and join us. So if you didn't already buy seed potatoes, you can still buy them and find them. You usually want to start those a couple weeks ahead of time inside. You want to get them chitting, which basically means put them in the sun and let them start growing these little nubs. I'm going to grow seed potatoes, but I also have potatoes from last year that were in my basement that we didn't eat. And this shows you what that potato looks like. So obviously, even though it's in the basement, it wasn't in total darkness, so it started to grow. And I just let them go. I'm going to try to grow some of these as well and see how they do. I've been told that second year potatoes growing don't grow or produce as much fruit, but we're going to see. And kind of exciting. One of the things you can do with seed potatoes is basically you can quarter these or half these. And so that's up to you. Because I bought a lot, I'm not going to be doing a lot of that today. I'm just going to let it grow. But all you would do is where each of these little chits is, you would just cut it in half. Now you want it to have enough potato to feed this, which will eventually become your plant. And so you don't want to go real small. Basically, you're probably looking at half or a third of a potato when you're cutting one of these up. And what I do is you can put some fungicide on that end that you've cut, because that's flesh that can get bacteria and fungus and all that stuff. Old-time farmers will tell you just to rub that in the dirt, that open skin, before you plant it, and that will protect it. You can also use a fungicide on that edge and let it harden over for a couple of days before you do that. So basically that's the whole process. I did go back and put another layer of straw on there as well as, and I think you saw that, some sawdust that I had. That's just me. I'd rather have more of it, kind of blocking out the light, keeping it warm, keeping that bed going as we see through. One of the other things you might have noticed is the ground was a little bit prepared ahead of time. So that's the bed that I used last year. So that was all grass last year. And so rather than just create a new bare spot, I did it right on top. But my next batch, I'm going to actually put right next to it. And that's going to be right on bare grass again. So hopefully this method is something you might want to try. It worked really well for us. And really, you don't have to do much with it the rest of the time. I occasionally water it, but it's only when I'm watering other things and I want to give it just a good dosing. But honestly, you don't have to touch it for 4 or 5 months. And then when it's time to touch it, you're basically just spreading that straw with your hands. And there's all your tubular potatoes right there, which is pretty awesome. The other cool part is actually all of this straw that you see, I used on my garlic, which you see behind me from the fall. And so it's kind of just reusing everything. The straw is still nice and good. I've actually had it in my greenhouse, cooking, if you will, all winter long, so it's nice and dry, and hopefully killing any weed seeds in the process. This has been Andy from Why Not Farms and our shit show method of growing potatoes. See you later from Maine.